the 18 WJTS News. I'm Charlotte Olson. A welfare check of a man inside a car parked at a Huntingburg convenience store over the weekend ended with his arrest on alcohol and drug-related charges. Around 2:30 on Saturday morning, Huntingburg police were called to a Huck's to conduct a welfare check on a man that police were told had been parked at the store for an extended period of time. Police say that the driver, identified as Derek Rahman, appeared to be unconscious while he was sitting in the driver's seat of a running truck. Huntingburg police officially say that they, along with deputies with the Du Bois County Sheriff's Department, had difficulty but were finally able to get Rahman alert. Once out of the vehicle, police had Rahman perform several field sobriety tests, of which officers say he failed. They say he submitted to a chemical test which measured his blood alcohol content at 0.203%. Police say they also found marijuana inside of his vehicle. He was taken to and booked into the Du Bois County Security Center in Jasper for operating while intoxicated with a blood alcohol content of 0.15% or higher, and that charge was enhanced to a felony due to him being his second DUI in less than 5 years. Rahman was also charged with possession of marijuana. A traffic stop in Jasper over the weekend of a vehicle that was said to be driving recklessly ended with the arrest of a Huntingburg man on a drug possession charge. Around 11 o'clock on Saturday night, Jasper police responded to the report of a reckless driver and conducted a traffic stop of a passenger car driven by 26-year-old Kyle Schneider of Huntingburg. This was conducted along the 600 block of West 6th Street. During the stop, a police canine indicated to the presence of an illegal narcotic. A subsequent search of the vehicle resulted in the discovery of marijuana. Schneider was placed under arrest and was taken to and booked into the Du Bois County Security Center on a charge of possession of marijuana. A Bird's Eye man convicted of felony intimidation from a 2016 case is officially being sentenced. 41-year-old Josh McBride was sentenced to 4 years in the Indiana Department of Corrections, with the first year of house arrest with a GPS device. The remaining 3 years were suspended to supervised probation, and in 2016, McBride received a letter from the Anderson Valley Christian Church designed to serve as a non-trespassing warning. A day after receiving the letter from the church, which is adjacent to McBride's residence, authorities accused McBride and his son of shooting rifles, detonating exploding targets, and revving vehicles with loud exhaust from their home. Both were arrested for their involvement and charged with intimidation, criminal recklessness, and disorderly conduct. Last month, a judge found Josh McBride guilty of 2 counts of felony intimidation and 2 disorderly conduct charges. Damian McBride died in December of 2016 in a house fire. Josh McBride is also ordered not to have contact with Anderson Valley Christian Church and must remain indoors between 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. every Sunday when the congregation is having their services. 2 Oaktown women were killed in an incident on early Sunday morning in Knox County after authorities say the vehicle that they were riding in inadvertently drove off an embankment and into the Wabash River while four-wheeling in a field. Indiana State Police say that around 1 a.m. on Sunday, the driver of the military Humvee, 34-year-old Kyle Mason, and a passenger, 33-year-old Cody Meeks, were able to get out of the vehicle and swim to the embankment. They say that was not the case for Kyle's wife, 33-year-old Breezy, and Cody's wife, 32-year-old Megan. The 2 men ran approximately 1.5 miles back to Mason's residence to get help, but the residents did not have a telephone and both of their phones were in the river. Mason was able to get another 4-wheeled vehicle and drove back to the scene to attempt to locate his wife and friend. Meanwhile, Meeks ran to a nearby residence to call for help, and emergency crews from numerous agencies responded. Drivers located the vehicle, but due to a strong current, they had a difficult time securing and removing it from the Wabash River. Police say that at approximately 10:30 on Sunday morning, crews located both women when they pulled the vehicle to the surface. Indiana State Police and Knox County Coroner Brian Hagan are currently investigating the incident. Foul play is not suspected and autopsies are scheduled for today. The Indiana State Police, Indiana Conservation Officers, and Vincennes Township divers were responsible for locating the vehicle and recovering both of the females. With more focus being put on the advancement of technology, knowledge of computer science is becoming an increasingly valuable skill. There is an estimated 500,000 jobs available in the commuting industry, with over 4,000 of those jobs being right here in the Hoosier State. Part of Governor Eric Holcomb's legislative agenda seeks to improve Indiana's future workforce, closing the skills gap between available jobs and Hoosiers that are seeking employment. District 48 State Senator Mark Messmer of Jasper says that it's crucial that lawmakers take action to assure that our up-and-coming workforce is prepared for the 21st century jobs and are also properly educated by our public school systems.
Senate Bill 172, which passed out of the Senate this week by a 48-1 vote, would require public and charter schools across the state to include computer science within their curriculum before the start of the 2021-2022 school year. High schools would be required to offer at least one specific computer science course, and, for grades K through 8, the computer science standards that are in place for students must be included in the science curriculum at some point along the education path.
Messmer says that to ensure high schools have enough qualified computer science teachers by 2021, the Bill 172 would establish the next level computer science grant program. He says the program would offer grants to entities such as local colleges that provide professional development training for educators to effectively teach computer science in schools. Messmer says that offering these courses will better prepare students for today's jobs and also for college requirements. Messmer also gave an update on a bill that he authored, and he says that Senate Bill 380 passed out of the Senate unanimously this past week.
Senate Bill 380 would require the Indiana Department of Natural Resources to expedite the processing of road projects within a historic preservation zone within 30 days. This issue was brought to my attention last year by Huntingburg Mayor Denny Spinner while attempting to get the city's Stellar City project approved. Mayor Spinner discovered that the DNR review process was a minimum 3-month time frame. The DNR has now agreed to expedite the process by shortening it to 30 days as spelled out by the new regulations in Senate Bill 380, allowing for a quicker turnaround on these important projects.
To stay up to date on these issues, you can visit www.in.gov/IGA. And as always, you feel free to contact Messmer's office directly with questions. In his email is senator.messmer@iga.in.gov, and his phone number is 800-382-9467. A lawsuit that accuses Evansville police officers of violating 3 teenagers' constitutional rights by coercing confessions in the killing of a homeless man can proceed to trial. A federal appeals court has ruled, and a panel of the 7th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals agreed there's enough evidence that officers deliberately coerced confessions from siblings William and Deborah Hurt in the death of 54-year-old Marcus Golik to warrant a civil trial. The suit filed in 2014 on behalf of William, Deidre, and Andrea Hurt and their mother, Debbie, accuses detectives of threatening the teenagers, feeding them facts to a confession, and then ignoring evidence that disproved those statements, and even manufacturing some of the evidence. William Hurt was 18, Deidre was 19, and Andrea was 16 at the time of their arrest in the June 2012 killing, who was allegedly beaten, strangled, and dumped into the Ohio River. Another teenager who was also arrested is not a party to the suit. All charges in the case were ultimately dismissed against everyone but William Hurt, who refused a plea deal. A jury acquitted him of murder in February of 2013, and the suit's defendants include the city of Evansville, its police department, 4 city police detectives, and their 3 supervisors at the time, one of whom is now deceased. The suit also names 2 Kentucky State Police detectives who were involved because of Golik's body was being found in their jurisdiction. And keep it right here, except next we're going to take a look at your weather summary.